Good morning, it's August 30th, 2019. We're here with members of the Burkheimer family, Bob and Ann Burkheimer Reed, newly inducted members of the Ellensburg Rodeo Hall of Fame. For the record, would you state your full name and birth date and place?
Ann Burkheimer Reed. I was born in Seattle, Washington, March 27th, 1941.
Robert Brace Burkheimer, born in Seattle, January 28th, 1949. Moved to Ellensburg in 1950.
1950. Share with us a little bit about your people, your folks, and your family's background.
Well, when we moved to Ellensburg, my dad wanted to live over here so he could enjoy the ranching life, but he still kept his business in Seattle. I can remember going over to Bonnie and looking at property, and then looking at the property and where the ranch is now. And he was a builder, and he built the ranch. We picked rocks for years.
Sure did.
And Dad grew up with horses. His father had a farm out in Bothell.
Okay.
And
That was rural at that time.
yes, it was very rural. They did. Dad had ridden bulls a couple times just as a joke.
Okay.
But he was a cowboy. He liked to go down to the brandings at the Boone place down in Bothell. And
Okay.
I believe that they were connected with Ellensburg through the Boone family, because I can remember coming over to the parade and sitting in the Webster Hotel window and watching them ride in the parade.
You said Boone family?
The Boone family.
Did you go to school at Ellensburg schools, or I'm trying to remember that part of the story? Okay.
I went to Thorpe.
Okay.
From grade school to seventh grade, from first grade to seventh grade. Then I came into to Morgan.
Okay.
And
So
then,
you're both Ellensburg High graduates.
Right.
Okay.
I went to Thorpe at Ellensburg, went to Hellenbusch in Seattle, and came back my senior year and graduated from Ellensburg.
Okay. So it sounds like your upbringing was primarily in the Kittitas Valley.
Yes.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that childhood and young adulthood, if you will.
Well, we had horses.
Yeah.
We had cattle. We rode a lot. We did a lot of cow cutting at the ranch with a lot of the local cowboys. In the parades, Dad was parade director, so we were involved in that.
Sure.
Rodeo was a big part of our life, socially, with all the local families. It was a fun time.
Dad got a little more involved with the cattle when I was growing up. I'm 8 years younger than Annie, and I remember, getting up in the morning at 6 o'clock in the wintertime, getting on the trailer, taking the hay up to the cattle in the feedlot. We helped Dad build that feedlot, the troughs and the shed up there, and built the hay barns, and we were.
You walked the walk. This
Yeah,
you weren't absentee owners. Your
No.
family were.
And we,
working.
and it was
Ranch
work. It
people.
wasn't like we didn't have a choice, but
Yeah.
we did something with our father. We did it as a family. and-
Awesome.
and it
We used to have thrashing crews come in, and I remember in the summertime we'd ride our horses out and take them water and iced tea, and then we cooked them a big dinner for lunch.
Yeah, Mom would cook
Mom
it.
would
She'd
cook.
have like 15 guys in for a full meal for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
If you're
Yeah,
trying to
so
put
she
dinner
did
together, you know
pies
how to
and
cut it.
pot roasts and all
My
that.
God.
Yeah, so she was, a real part of that
Well,
deal.
sure, yeah.
Right.
The rural lifestyle is what attracted him to the valley,
Yes.
it sounds like.
Yeah.
Your first introduction or knowledge of the Ellensburg Rodeo, I guess I was under the impression that you either spent more time than you did in the Puget Sound, but it sounds like it's been a part of your life from the get-go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been a great, Dad did a great job. I think we moved here in 1950, and his first year on the rodeo board was 1951. And he contributed and made some great friends in the driver family, the McManamy family, the fitters. It's still generational, and so we were very involved with them, and he had a lot of business associates and people in Seattle that he loved to bring over here to show them off the Ellensburg Rodeo, and as a result of that, it became an annual tradition, and it's just a wonderful memories.
Well, yeah, you get a couple of points that are themes throughout these interviews that multi-generational and the connection between city and country.
And I believe I can remember coming over and staying out at the Anderson Ranch, Clarence's place, and Linda and I became good friends before we even moved here. And we went all the way through high school together. She was queen when I was princess. Linda and I continued to be roommates in college, and I was in her wedding, and today we're still close friends.
Lifelong
Yeah.
friends, yeah.
But I'd come over for a couple of weeks in the summertime before we moved to Ellensburg.
So you did have some
We knew the
valley
Anderson family,
experience,
yes.
yeah. You were in the royalty and obviously an ambassador for the Ellensburg Rodeo. Prior to that, what involvement did you have in the rodeo?
Well, I was in Wranglerettes,
Okay, sure.
and I would do the cow cutting with Dad.
Okay.
I was in all the play days that we had.
How about you, Bob? What was-
Well, I was kind of a clown.
We've heard that story. You want to share it with us?
Well, I had a burro. His name was Pedro, and he was a character, and his burros are, they're stubborn, and I would teach. I'd ride him. You ride a burro on their rump, and
okay.
so we had a ride on him, but he became a joke because you could sit on his rump and he would just buck about 10 feet and he'd fall off and he'd stop and he'd get back on and he'd do it again, and we could make him lay down, and just like a dog, So one time Dad wanted me to ride him in the rodeo on the track,
Okay.
doing that, hopping along, and so we did that. I think Tex was even involved, or Tex Talafer was
Sure.
involved with it sometime. And then one time they asked me to be a clown helper with the Clark brothers, and so the act was that one of the Clark brothers shot the other one, and he let off a smoke bomb down the arena, and then in that pile of smoke, he disappeared into a hole that nobody knew about. And so they had me dressed up like him behind the fence. And when he disappeared into the hole, then I was supposed to come over the fence, staggering and like I'd been hurt and stuff. Well, they'd put a little whiskey in me, and I was in high school, and I came over the fence and I fell flat on my face, and I was stumbling really good, but when I grabbed that smoke bomb, I burned my hand. And those guys felt so sorry for me. But anyway, it worked out. The show went on.
Yeah.
And so but we got to go. We were so fortunate. We got to go behind the chutes. We got to, we saw rodeo from the contestant side.
Yeah.
And that just goes right to the heart.
Doesn't it?
It does.
You're a wannabe cowboy, but you're not, but you can feel the spirit of those guys and what they go through for minuscule dollars, but a real passion of life.
Absolutely.
And that's the culture that we're really interested in helping foster, because it's a dying breed, and we just really want to support that any way we can in this community, because it does
Well,
help.
there's a need. We
There's a
appreciate
need,
it.
yes.
Your fellow inductee, Flint Rasmus, and I were talking this morning about the difference between the PBR and the rodeos. And one of the balancing acts they're going through right now is the fact that they do have a lot of non-rodeo energy and resources bringing good ideas to their organization, and yet at the expense of that Western culture and lifestyle that we so desperately want and need to perpetuate. And so
Well, it's
need to
very,
consider to do.
I think it's a very healthy family environment. Very proud to be part of our country.
Yeah, and I'm glad you
Christian people.
say that.
Yes.
My wife Jody is a professional barrel racer, among other things, and I went to some rodeos with her this summer, purely as a spectator. It's the first time since I competed, really, that I've been back to a lot of these rodeos, and so I'm sitting in the grandstands and watching how sincerely happy and excited people are to be a part of that community, you know, and that is what Western culture is about, community. We keep hearing it at the induction banquet, and each time I get to do one of these interviews, it's about people getting together for a common good, something bigger than themselves. And
It's nice to watch the families grow up, like Trevor. You knew Trevor when he was single, and he's married, and he's children,
absolutely.
and some of the other ones, it's just, and such a healthy environment, I think, for them.
Do you have a favorite memory from the Ellensburg Rodeo? It's one
I have
the
lots of
favorites.
them.
Some memorable moments, how about that?
Well, one was with Bob when he was doing his clown act. That was,
Sounds
remember
memorable.
getting very upset with him.
You were the
Yes.
older sister.
I think being with my dad on the track, Dad, Textile Farrell, Art Driver and Will Driver were like second fathers to me because of the cow cutting.
Sure.
That meant a lot to me.
Gosh, yeah. How about you, Bob?
Well, I think watching them cow cut is, you know, because that was before cow cutting was the big money and the big horses every day. And, you know, we spent, I don't know, 4 nights a week out at our ranch. Tex and Lowe and Art and other people would come out and cow cut. Dad had a cow cutting arena.
Okay.
And they'd come out and socialize and cow cut and have dinner, and we were always doing that. And then we'd move cattle, and stuff like that. And then to see Annie and Dad cow cutting without a bridle. I mean, it just shows how, you know, you move, but you can train a horse, and horses have instincts with cows like dogs do with hunting. And those horses that they had, that they trained themselves, and not for money, just for
That's
pleasure.
rewarding, isn't it?
Yeah,
With an animal.
yeah,
It's-
the bonding was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so those are some of my favorite moments. I mean, the clown acts have been fabulous. You know, the one-armed bandit, some of these trick riders. I mean, there's just so many of them. But you know, we come over here, and a lot of people like to go to the rodeo one day. We go 3 days, every day of the year. I mean, I don't care if you've seen the day before or not. The announcers, you know, George Prescott, Phil Gardenhauer, Justin McKee, they are so entertaining, and the clowns, and those athletes, those professional rodeo guys are as good as any star baseball player.
I appreciated you saying that last
Yeah.
night. People don't always recognize
Yeah,
that.
I mean, these guys
That's
are world-class athletes. You know, Jim Shoulders, you know, won the all-around 17 times. and he was called the Babe Ruth of rodeo. And you know, you can look at like any one of those pros today and compare them to top sports stars in football, basketball, baseball, golf. And they do it on their own, and they take a beating.
There's the 15 million that Rory won last week at the FedEx Cup.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so, you know, a big day, you know, I got reps yesterday, or 2 days ago, at the West Star Book, and the top team won $40,000. Well, that's unbelievable for 1 day's work, but these guys need that money to travel, and
It's unbelievable until you start buying a $90,000 pickup, and you know, a horse that's worth close to that. Or,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah. yeah, and the lifestyle.
Closing comments or anything else you'd like to add to this story?
No, but it was nice to be honored for something you're so passionate about, that our family's been passionate about. It's, to be honored for that's nice.
Well, that was exciting for us all
Yes.
when we made the decision this year to honor your family. It goes both ways, that's for sure.
Yeah.
How about you, Bob?
Well, I just, I think I've kind of said most of it, you know, just the cowboy culture, you know, we're proud of this. The rodeo has made Ellensburg our roots, even though we went away for years in our career and lives around the country. And but this is home. We still maintain that everybody's welcome at our home, and everybody treats us like it's theirs. So we enjoy it, and we enjoy introducing the people from out of town to the local people, because everybody is so supportive of the community. And you know, the community's changed over the years, you know, but and like society has, it's become less community. And as Ann said, I think we're really honored to be recognized for doing our little part, because there's hundreds and hundreds of volunteers
Yes.
all year long that work on this rodeo all year long.
That's a fact.
Wasn't for that, we wouldn't have this passion, we wouldn't have these roots, and so we're very appreciative.
Well,
And the city of Bremerton or of Ellensburg, it's amazing how every storefront has an advertisement about the rodeo. That makes me feel real proud that they're so the community's so involved in it.
it's neat you'd say that. Yeah, our daughters, they're off to college, but one came home, daughter Trey, this summer, and she's worked at the rodeo ticket office.
Uh-huh.
And her twin sister True, when she came back into town yesterday, commented on that very thing, the storefronts and the windows, and that's just a
They all
part
go
of
out.
the feel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The cowboy way.
yeah, that's right, the cowboy way. Well, again, well-deserved honor, and we appreciate you being here as the newest members of the
Thank you.
Ellensburg Hall of
Thank you.
Fame.
Thank you to the
Thank you.
Rodeo Hall of Fame.